What's up, people of the world? This is Alexander making a video. It's the end of February. I'm enjoying the seasons changing. I see the sun out nice and warm. I love hot weather. I don't like cold weather at all. Something about me. Maybe you didn't know. I was listening to Ludacris the past hour, just sitting on the patio smoking some tobacco and jamming, and he's good, man. I realize he's one of my favorite rappers. I really enjoy listening to his music. He's really good. And there's so many different rappers, but my heart has an affinity for him. He's good. And of course there's the Fast and the Furious, which I'm a big fan of. The series, the franchise they call it. So I'm actually happy for him that he got more coverage and his fan base expanded because he got that exposure. So I'm happy for him. Just something empathetic in my heart, feeling happiness for another person. I think he deserves it. He's a good person and he's gifted. And of course, we could always assume a celebrity is a good person and that I might be incorrect or people are incorrect because you don't know them, but something just shines sincerely about him. Seems like a real sincere guy. And that goes along with Vin Diesel and all the other cast of the Fast and the Furious. Seem like real sincere people, the cast of the Fast and the Furious. So, just sharing something from my heart. So I didn't have a plan what to talk about, but I'm feeling down again. I'm feeling doubts. I want to travel, and I'm feeling scared of commitment right now. I'm feeling scared of commitment to my girlfriend. I'm feeling scared of commitment to these medications. I'm feeling scared of commitment to my family. And I think part of that is evoked by listening to rap music and hip hop. And I just think to myself that I could have a completely different path than being cautious. I could be more impulsive and shoot from the hip and have a lot of fun. But there's always danger and risk involved with being impulsive. So in my journey, I had my mind snap at a certain point, and it just was not capable of grasping reality as it is. And I was doing irregular things. I really saw myself as an isolated person, the way I view my own self in that time, the way I viewed myself in that time. And it didn't work out because I ended up in a mental hospital multiple times. So I have this burden to carry of mental illness while still trying to be myself in my own sincere path, my own sincere way of expressing myself, my own sincere way of connecting with people. Guess I'll just be quiet for a few seconds. Guess that's acceptable. Okay. I feel like a nerd, man. I mean, I make these videos and I think to myself, why am I not showing people the best of me? And I'm just being so open and vulnerable and showing all of my wounds, all of my weaknesses, all of the things that are embarrassing about me. Why do I show this to the world? And I'm trying to understand this. and I can't seem to understand it. I used to put on a happy face for people, and I would post music online, and I would go to open mics, and I would perform downtown in different places, the local couple cities. I would be in this county going around, busking on the street, playing music, and getting feedback. But there's this new layer that's emerging in me, and this layer itself is comfortable with being vulnerable. So I'm adjusting to this new facet of mine, this new face of mine, this new part of me, and becoming comfortable with it. So I'm having doubts. Today I'm doubting everything because of the music I'm listening to, which is a lot of freedom as a man. But I'm going through a wave, and this wave is conquerable. I know I can get past it. You know, these words, each word brings me a little closer to home internally within me. Each one of these words brings me closer to being at peace with my doubts and adjusting to a new form of life that is hopefully going to be great. I'm just looking at my own life and seeing that this transition is a huge transition, that I'm going to migrate to Israel, that I'm going to, after 10 years of being in a long-distance relationship and being fully committed, doing the work every day, talking with her, being back together after 10 years. It's wild. I mean, how much is my life going to change? And how much strength have I built in such an awkward way? I am insecure about it. Long distance relationship sounds weak. You think of awkward people, you think of lame people, you think of unpopular people, you think of people that aren't cool, you think of people that are overweight or have a lot of trauma or drama or lots of problems, lots of personal problems. And I didn't end up living the life that I thought I would end up living. A lot of curveballs came to me through the universe, through God's way, through life's way, through my own decisions and the consequences of my own decisions. I ended up in a long-distance relationship for about 10 years, over the phone, on Skype and WhatsApp, and writing letters to each other when I was in jail. That's a personal detail, but I was in jail and we wrote to each other, and I stayed in contact with her son, who I love very much, Sonny. And now there's no probation, now there's no complications with mental health, and now I should be having the money soon to fly there. And I'm scared. Israel's at war, I'm scared. I have an older woman, she has very high standards and expectations of me, I'm scared. I have a woman, which means I can't date around, I'm scared. I have to keep taking these medications because the legal system is putting a lot of pressure on me. I'm scared. I can't drink or smoke weed anymore. I'm scared. I'm scared of so many things. I don't feel free. And, you know, it's worth the sacrifice also. I know this. I'm just repeating it for my own sake. These sacrifices are worth it. To be sober and to be responsible and to have a woman that's happy by my side and proud of me and entertained and in the company of and sharing space with, a good friend, a person to laugh with, a person to be creative with, a person to be inspired with. I have that in this relationship, but I'm just losing it, man. These days are passing slowly, and now I am making a goal to quit tobacco. I just wish sometimes I could live that pop life where I go out and I go to the club and I drink. I want to have all these crazy stories and these crazy experiences and fall in love multiple times and know what it feels like to be a man. I'm thinking of Ludacris. I started out this video talking about Ludacris, but I mean, this influence of hip hop is strong in my own personal life, even as a white guy, even as a young guy, even as a Jewish guy, even as a spiritual guy. I feel influenced by it, and I want to live that life too. It sounds pretty immaculate, but that's not my path. I got my partying out in my early 20s. I was drinking all the time. I was smoking. I was meeting people, but there was still this emptiness. So maybe I'm taking a shortcut. I'm not having to live the rest of my 30s in a lonely place or a sad place, and I'm just getting all my shit together immediately, and I get to live a longer life of sobriety, not lonely, being understood, feeling fully myself. I mean, I guess this is the part of myself, these videos that are vulnerable and I said weak are something that I would have cut out. So I'm fully expressed. I'm not just putting on a smiling face in my videos or hoping to get popularity or get recognition in the music industry, but going in complete wholeness. So I guess, I might have it better than some others, but I'm still feeling doubt, and this is something that I'm beginning to recognize. Whereas I was never a person to acknowledge my own shortcomings, that I was selfish, that I could be an asshole, or that I was an asshole. Really, I was an asshole. That I was arrogant. That I was lonely, that I was depressed. And also, I forgot the adjective I started with before I listed that, but another attribute. And I'm thinking to myself, if I'm a prophet, which I believe I am, this is the reason I have to live a difficult, strict life. Because each time I went out on my own into the world and I left my family behind and I just was living very basically, traveling, surviving, I ended up at a dead end. There was no hope, there was only despair. And that's a path to nowhere. Not inviting my purpose, not expressing my purpose, not making an effort to live my purpose, to know that there is something great for me, but just being impulsive and running out into the world because I'm impatient and looking for trouble and using drugs. Drinking, smoking, drugs, right? It wasn't working. And so I'm more accepting this afternoon, that my life has to be difficult. And there is greatness for me waiting. I know there is. But I'm having to move so slowly It's agonizing. And I'm scared now that I'm talking about it, I'm scared that I'll relapse. I'll walk around the corner and somebody will be hitting a joint and they'll offer it to me. I'm scared that I'll relapse. I'll go to the liquor store and buy a beer. But I suppose I have to open this because it's on my plate, so to speak. I'm thinking about it. I might as well talk about it and get past it because it's going to emerge sometime anyway. So I might as well be prepared and understand that these are very strong habits from the past of mine and that I can handle them with maturity if I should ever have a craving. So things are moving slowly. I want to party, right? I want to go meet women. I want to listen to good music. I want to groove, I want to be expressed because I know I am all those things that are being described as cool or popular or liked or strong or powerful. I know that this is what I am, but I want to find expression for who I am. I need to go deeper again and remember, after so many years of mental health treatment, being treated in sterile environments, hospitals, doctors that don't seem to really listen to you, people around you that seem crazier than you are. I'm sitting there going, I'm definitely not as crazy as that guy or that lady. I don't really need to be here. And understanding that if I can get through these layers and go deeper into my heart, I will find who I am, that cool guy that I was, and find expression for it again. I have to rebuild my self-esteem. It seems so uncool to talk about coolness. It's kind of an unspoken thing, but this is where I'm at. And I know that I am something good and something that can be appreciated. I have a lot to bring to the table in this life. So I guess I'll focus on expression. I will find expression for who I am. And I'll continue expressing myself in this video right now. Shoot for a couple more minutes. Maybe around 20 or 25 minutes. If it makes it almost 8 more minutes or 7 more minutes, that's fine. I'm thinking about my girlfriend, and she doesn't want any drinking, any smoking. It's not just not want, she is dedicated to her path of sobriety, and she says she won't stay with me if I drink or smoke. As a young guy, we're 20 years apart from each other. This has been a big subject in my family about accepting our relationship. We are 20 years apart from each other. I'm 31. She's older than me. A little more than 20 years, a couple more years, 22 years actually. She doesn't want smoking, she doesn't want drinking, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm so young and there's so many beautiful women that are my age. What am I doing with an older woman who is so strict and disciplined and structured in her living? What am I doing with such a brilliant person too? Sometimes I think to myself, she's a genius. She's brilliant. She speaks 3 languages. She speaks English, Arabic, and Hebrew. And she is so talented. She can draw. She can write poetry. She's so strong. Her back is ripped. She can do downward dog perfectly. She can now weight train, as she's been doing lately. She's weight training. And I'm thinking to myself, why is she interested in me? I don't even feel like I'm good enough for her, and she accepts me after all the mental health bullshit I've been through and all the addiction that I had to work through AA and NA for a couple of years, more than a couple of years, like 5 or 6 years. I'm cutting myself short. So I'm still thinking to myself, I just want to enjoy being in my 30s. But I'm not sure that it's possible anyway. Even if I were to break up with her, I would still have to do treatment, or I would still depend on my family, or of the options that are available. I could pick up a backpack again and go somewhere, but it would lead to nowhere. I'd find myself in a random town. I'd go buy a beer, I'd hit a blunt or something, and then I'd go back into my psychosis, which was really a very exasperated, isolating state where I'm disconnected from my family, I'm disconnected from my friends, I'm disconnected from my long-term goals of achieving success as a prophet, bringing people together, contributing to the world, being a positive force, focusing on connection and happiness, eventually getting an education, going back to school, and learning serious music, and devoting my life to music and the science of it and the art of it. So I'm saying even if I wasn't with her, I'm not sure that I'd have that groovy lifestyle that I'm craving anyway. So it really seems to me that I'm just going to be, not just, but I will be with complete grandness, greatness, big. I will be living with a woman that knows yoga like the back of her hand, that knows exercise like the back of her hand, that knows the body like the back of her hand, that knows Pilates like the back of her hand, that knows Aikido like the back of her hand, that knows poetry and performance and theater and singing and art and appreciation of those arts. And I will live in a stable house, a stable environment where I'm free to be myself. And I just have to see with realism the different paths before me, right in front of me. If I take this direction, this is where it's going. If I take this direction, this is where it's going. If I take this direction, this is where it's going. So although I might feel all these excitements, what is the word? Although I'm feeling all these exciting muses to live a bachelor's life or a free life, that may not even be a possibility. And in fact, I don't think it is. Because without another life to move toward and to strive toward and make goals with, that being to go to Israel and to be a part of my own family, with my own woman and her family and her son. One second. There wouldn't be anything in that empty space here. If I stayed in America, my mom and my sister would be on my case about not drinking and not smoking and continuing to take psychiatric medication, antipsychotic medication for schizophrenia, for bipolar, for trauma and beyond. Hellish places I've been in, that I've felt, that I've observed. There is nothing else that could occur unless I really think carefully. I have to also validate everything I've said up until this point. I'm almost at 25 minutes. I think I'll end it at 25, by the way. So another minute. But I have to validate everything I've said. If what I want is to be promiscuous, then I'll be promiscuous. If I want to remain in a relationship, I'll remain in a relationship. If I want to live out a path, I can find a way. If I immigrate to Israel and I'm not with her, that's a possibility. If I go to New York and study Judaism again in New York, that's a possibility. If I remember I'm a prophet in any path that I take, that's enough to ground me to reality and to remain a part of society and to remain a part of not isolating and being healthy emotionally and mentally. Because this is a secret I've kept for many years that I'm a prophet, since I was 16. So it took another 10 years until I was diagnosed with a mental illness. But I was doing fine all my life, all the way up until my mid-20s. And I was a prophet the whole time. So now that I'm opening up about it recently, I'm just understanding more consciously that it is a part of who I am, and it's always been a part of me, and I will never reject that part of me again. Otherwise, I would lose it mentally. So I won't isolate. I won't reject that part of me. I'll find more expression. I guess maybe the motif of this video is expression. I really just had a heavy load to unload and say some things that might be embarrassing for my girlfriend, that might be embarrassing for me, but I had to get it out, and I'm making a video, and I'm leaning on you, YouTube, you, the people of the world that give validation to my thoughts. And I appreciate a couple views here, a couple views there, and seeing a number in the view section of the video underneath it. It makes me excited. Somebody saw my video, you know? It's some good self-esteem that we all need to be validated. So I made it to 26 minutes. God bless. Whoever you are, I love you, all right? Just give yourself a hug or smile because somebody out there said, I wish well to you. God bless you. May life bless you. May the universe bless you. May you be happy and find your way too. Thank you for listening, okay? Alexander says, Baruch Hashem, and goodbye. Bye.